Thank you for the organizers for allowing me to speak for a few minutes this morning, and welcome everybody. Again, welcome to today's webinar. This is one of the very important and fun agronomy meeting that I look forward to join and learn about the latest and greatest on soybean agronomy and research. Before we do that, I want to share with you guys a little bit about North Dakota Soybean Council, who we are, and what we do and what we prioritize on behalf of soybean farmers. We are North Dakota Soybean Farmers. We are farmer-funded and farmer-directed organizations. We have 12 directors across the state representing soybean farmers. Our mission is innovating to expand partnerships, markets, and opportunities for the success of North Dakota soybean farmers. A lot of times we get questions from people saying, well, there is a council, there is an association, what's your difference? I want to clarify that today. We are sister organizations. We work really closely, shoulder to shoulder. However, we have different focus and we have different funding sources. We as a council, we are checkoff organization. We are funded by soybean farmers checkoff dollars. The association is member-driven organization, so the members will support that organization. The council's main focus is market development, research, and education and outreach. The association focus on farm policy, regulatory issues, and some leadership development type of things on behalf of soybean farmers, but we share the same vision, which is growing a legacy of successful farmers. Like I said, we are checkoff funded organization. We are North Dakota Soybean Farmers. Most of you guys are pretty familiar with this graphs. It shows on the left the increase of soybean acres in North Dakota since 1980s to 2020s. If we started to draw more on the right until 2024, we see the similar trend of continued increase in soybean acres in the state. Soybean is really a success story here in North Dakota. I hear some stories from farmers in early days in 1980s that they're growing soybeans, but they're growing it in spots that not everybody is seeing, so that if it's not going to grow well, it's not going to be so embarrassing, or people don't know what that crop is in the state. So over the decade, we really expanded our acres, increased our production, and here we are being one of the major soybean producers in United States. On the right, this graph is showing average yield increase in North Dakota. I believe this graph is made by Dr. Hans Kandel at NDSU. As you can see, from 1980s to 2020s, soybean acres, not only soybean acres are increased, but soybean yield also increased steadily, which is a very great story to tell. Is this it? No, we do have a lot of improvements that we need to make in terms of yield improvements. There's lots of factors that we need to manage, lots of risk that we need to mitigate in order to maximize yield, maximize profit for soybean farmers. That's why we are here today, to learn about latest and greatest on soybean research and agronomy. So I would like to see our yield in the state increase moving forward, but so far we're pretty pleased with what we have seen, the success of soybeans in the state. And in this graph, or in this page, I would like to give you guys a little bit of update on the soybean production in the state this year. In 2024, we have a very great soybean production year. we planted about, or soybean farmers in North Dakota planted about 6.65 million acres of soybeans and harvested 6.6 million acres, which is record high. It's about 7% increase compared to last year's acres or harvested acres. And in terms of yield, we harvested about 38 bushels per acre this year. Again, this is 2.5 bushels higher compared to last year. Our record so far, when I looked at the data, it's been about 35 bushels in the state. Having 38 bushel per acre here in North Dakota is pretty great number. That's a really great yield increase. And I also listed some of the United States soybean production data here. Overall, in the United States, soybean production also increased. Even it's higher compared to last year. One of the main reasons that we have higher yields in the state this year is because it rained in August. There are a lot of other factors that drive higher yields, but compared to many other years, we had precipitation in most areas throughout the season, and we also have precipitations in August that filled up the beans pretty good. So 38 bushels per acre is a state average. We are pretty pleased with that. Although the crop pricing is not very high in terms of yield, is relatively decent for us this year. So we also get questions from people saying, what's in soybeans? Most of us are pretty familiar. Soybean have about 19 to 20% of oil. It has proteins, carbohydrates, of course, moisture. This is kind of a breakdown of what soybean consisted of. And what do we do with soybeans? About 80% of soybean is a meal and 20% is oil. And majority of soybean meal is used for animal feed. And very little, negligible amount is used for food ingredients. And soybean oil in recent years is what's really driving the demand for soybean. If you look back in the history of how we use soybeans are really grown for soybean meal for a very long time. But in the recent years, it really changed. And right now, the demand for soybean is really driven by soybean oil. And soybean oil is used in a lot of different things. Of course, it's used in food, frying, cooking oil, and things like that. But then another main driver is fuel. We have soybean oil in very high demand for renewable diesel, biodiesel, sustainable aviation fuel. These are the areas that are creating large volumes and high value for soybean oil. And we are very excited about these opportunities. We always get some questions about, should we use soybean oil for fuel? Should we not use soybean oil for fuel? In my opinion, of course, it's a great opportunity for farmers. It's a great use. We do have enough soybean for everything. So we are very excited about this new demand for soybean oil. It's clean, it works. So it's tremendous opportunity for soybean farmers and the industry. And here are some of the other uses for soybeans. Soybeans are always referred as miracle beans, which is true. Over decades of research and development and investing in soy innovation, we are able to find a lot of different uses for soybeans. The first very successful use is the soybean oils in Goodyear tires. We have received a lot of very good feedback from people who have used soybean oil or the tires that are made out of soybean oil from Goodyear tires. They say that it has good tractions, it has pretty good performance overall. I sound like Goodyear tire salesperson, but we have really good feedback from people who have used it. We also use soybean oil to extend the life of roads, roof shingles, and soybeans are also used to insulate houses as well. Goodyear also uses soybean oil in Skechers shoes. So if you wanting to use soybeans more, there are a lot of options. There are some cosmetics, and soybean oil is also used for fake lawns here, and then the candles too. This is just the very few examples of how we are using soybean oils. We invested in a lot of research under the new uses. Here we have used soybeans in a lot of things, including biodegradable plastics, straw twine, and a lot of things. So when it comes to the use of soybeans, whether it's soybean meal and soybean oil, we have unlimited opportunities here. It's just our imagination of how we can use this crop and make it more valuable for farmers. So where in the world North Dakota soybeans go? This is another important question that we often get from people. Majority of soybeans produced here in North Dakota is exported internationally to Southeast Asia through Pacific Northwest. We have very good and efficient way to transport soybeans here in North Dakota. We transport the beans currently and previously as whole beans. Soybeans are produced in North Dakota, and then it's gonna be transported on the trucks to the local elevators, and the local elevators ship it to Pacific Northwest. From Pacific Northwest, soybeans are going to be shipped through the waterways to Pacific or Southeast Asia in countries like China, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines. Our main buyer is China and some other countries as well. It changes year to year, but for many, many years, China has been our #1 buyers of North Dakota soybeans. Very small amount of soybeans that's produced here in the state remains in state. We ship majority internationally and some of it domestically. And this is the Pacific Northwest drone area. It includes North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and a little bit of Missouri. Compared to other waterways, Pacific Northwest is very fast and cheaper. Here, Gulf to China takes 30 days, Brazil to China takes 32 days, but our shipments usually takes about 20 days, which is very efficient. So this is a map that's showing grain elevator and rail systems in North Dakota. The red dots are shuttle facility, the green dots or the blue dots are grain elevators, and the ladder-like connections are the railway systems. As you can see, we have very, very good facility, which is one of the most important strategic advantage that we have here in North Dakota, and one of the reasons why soybean have been very successful here in North Dakota. One of the major soybean production areas in the east and central is it has very good facilities, grain elevators, shuttle facilities. It's a little bit less in the west, but it's being built as soybean acres increase into the west. So, new and exciting opportunities. Over the years, we have hoped and dreamed about having crushing plants here in North Dakota. We never had one, but in the recent years, last year and this year, we have 2 soybean crushing plants. come online. One is in Spiritwood and another one is in Castleton. And these plants are in fully operational. They started to receive beans, one last year and another one this year. So these facilities are going to create tremendous opportunities. And we have another one planned in Grand Forks. I believe that one is under permitting stage right now, but we believe it's going to get built. So having 3 crushing plants in the state is going to change how we market soybeans. As I have indicated earlier, we have always shipped soybeans as whole bean, which is great, but we missed some opportunities of creating added value for these crops and farmers and the industry. Right now, having these 3 soybean crushing plants, we are going to crush the beans first here in North Dakota, and our products are going to be soybean oil, soybean meal, and soybean hulls. And after having these 3 products, marketing the products after crushing is going to create a lot of opportunities for farmers and the industry. It can also create some local jobs as well. So in a nutshell, soybean is one of the important crops in North Dakota. Soybean acres have been increasing in the state since 1980s. Right now, almost every county in North Dakota grows soybean, which is fantastic. But we have to keep supporting and providing tools and latest information for soybean growers so that they are successful in growing soybeans and increase their efficiency every single year. Soybeans create tremendous opportunities for farmers and the industry. That's my presentation, and here is my contact information. If you have any questions or if you want to connect with me, that's how you can get a hold of me. Thank you.